All right, guys. So today we'll talk about Lightning Data Services. The abbreviation is LDS. It stands for Lightning Data Services. It is similar to the standard controller as we have in VF page. So when we use standard controller in VF page, that means we don't need to write the Apex class or custom controller to either display the data or to create the data. We can use simply standard controller by which we can display the records, single record, we can display multiple records, we can create the record inside the data, and it also respect the CRUDs. Similarly, in Lightning Aura, if you want to display the records, we have different ways. One was using the Apex class custom controller. Another is we can use LDS, Lightning Data Services. So here what all we can do, we can display the records on the UI, we can create the records, and we can modify or update the records. So there are certain variables which we use. Let's say record ID. So record ID will be used only in two scenarios, and scenarios are either when you are trying to display the record, so you need to have the record ID for which record you want to have the fields on UI, or you want to modify, update. In that case also you need the record ID. It says specifies the record to load. Records cannot be loaded without a record ID. Mode can be set to either edit or view, because we have one Lightning record form. We have three forms, three tags: Lightning record form, Lightning record view form, and Lightning record edit form. So these are the modes which can be used on Lightning record form. Either we can use edit or view. So let's say if you want to view the records, only display the records and read only, we can set the mode view. If still you want the inline editing on those records which you are displaying, you can set edit. Layout type. So layout type means here if you compare with the custom controller, you want to display the fields, you need to put those into the queries, what all fields you want to have. But here in case of Lightning LDS, there are two possible ways. Either you can create one list or array where you can map the fields, what all fields you want to display on UI, or you can set the layout type. So layout type means, let's say if you set full, means it will take all the fields which are available on the standard layout which you have, full layout. Compact, again it will inherit all the fields which you have set on the compact layout. Let's say you have 30 fields on layout and you are using full, all 30 fields will be visible here. But if you remove 5 fields from the layout, and then there are 25 fields, it will automatically subtract those fields. So it will always keep on UI those fields only which are available on the layout itself, no other fields. So you can use two values, either full or compact.
This conference will now be recorded.
So majorly we will be going to use these things like record ID, mode, layout type, or fields when we will use Lightning record form, edit form, or record view form. A part of that, there are certain more things to the extension. Let me just walk you through. We have target record, we have target fields, target error. Means let's say when you are making anything, or maybe you are inserting the data, displaying the data, if some error occurs, then you can use target error, it will give you the error. Target fields is basically populated with simplified when we are loading the data to view. A part of this, these are the different methods: save record, delete record, get new record, or reload the record. When you want to write the complex functionality, we use these: save record, delete record, or these methods. So majorly there are these things which we can do. Using Lightning Data Services, we can load a record, we can save a record, or create a record, new record, or modify the record. Even we can also delete the record. So these are the actions which we can do. So majorly there are three things: either when you want to load the data on UI, or you want to create the new record, or you want to modify or update the existing record, we will use Lightning Data Services. I'll demonstrate it with some examples. And if you want to take a look of documentation, you can. So there are three forms if you see here. One is Lightning record form, Lightning edit form, and Lightning record view form. Okay, so once first I'll demonstrate use certain things with the help of Lightning record form. It will accept certain parameters. One is the object name, object API name, uh, record ID, or you can also set the mode. If you want to see here, you can. These are the attributes which you can pass when you are using the Lightning record form. And yeah, so that's the syntax here. Lightning record form, it will accept the record ID. It will also needs the object name and the layout type or mode. Because Lightning record, with the help of Lightning record form, we can do two things. You can modify the records, you can view the records. If you want to segregate, let's say you only want to view the records, we will be going to use Lightning record view form. If you only wants to modify, we will use Lightning record edit form. But let's say you want to build some kind of generic component, you want to use only Lightning record form, then you can use. I'll also teach you the app builder, how to modify the layout and how to add your component on the page or detail page. So first of all, let's create the Lightning component. I'll show you how we can load the data, load the record first. LDS load, let's say accounts. If I want to create a page of this, I will be going to click or check this Lightning record page. If I also need to create any tab, if I check this, it will be available for Lightning page, it will be available. So I don't need to create the tab. I'll use simply in the record page. Let's submit it. It will automatically implements the interface. Flexi page available for all types of page, available for record home, record page, and it is also implementing has record ID because we need the record ID. If you have noticed here, it's asking for the record ID. So they are basically passing the hard code ID. This one, we will be going to map it directly from the URL. You can pass the parameters here. First is, let's say, object API name. If you want to display the account records, you can use account. you need to pass the record ID v dot record ID. So either you can pass here fields directly, you can use fields. So what all fields you want? Let's say I'm using fields. So let's say name. Let's save it. If you want, you can put it in any lightning card. Most important thing you should know, because even though in LWC as well you will be going to modify the record page. So let's go to the account record first here. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll modify the same page. I'll add my component here somewhere on this UI and will show you the result. So go to the settings, click on edit page. So here you can see search bar. You can search your components if you have whatever the name you had put. Else just drag and drop or scroll down, and here I have created LDS load accounts component. That was my component which I have created. I can modify this layout now and I can put my component. So what I need to do, I need to simply pick it and drag and drop. Let's say if I want to put it here. Now save it. Then I need to activate it. So I need to activate it for which app, which profile, or which record type it should be visible. Click on activate. It will load it. So if you want to have the you want to make a default assignment, you can click here. Let's say if you want to choose specific apps, let's say it should be available only in sales app, and click next. Desktop and phone both, and which record type. So if you want to like segregate your process and want to display this component for specific record types only, you can also do that. Next, and here profiles. But if you miss something, let's say if I uncheck it, then if I like, let's say if I check some other profile, standard profile, and I don't check this profile, next, save. Now this component will be available only for that standard profile, not for my profile. Because I haven't added this for me, for myself. So you can see there is no change on the UI, nothing is coming.
This conference will now be recorded.
So here I have declared two attributes. One is record ID, another is fields. Field is array of a string where I'm passing as a default value. If you want, you can set this from your JS as well. All the fields you can set here, and you can then assign it. You can like if you are declaring like ACC ID, but in JS you have to again set this attribute with the record ID, else you can take it as a record ID only. Here we can set, if we are using fields, then we won't take layout because we have already specified what all fields we need. We can specify mode here, either view or edit. Let's say view. Now again I have to go back and I have to edit my layout to see the changes. Major is I have to give the access to the profile, otherwise it won't be visible. So let's see if we can modify it again and we can assign the permissions. I did wrong. Edit page. We also call it, is this a part of app builder where we can modify the complete page. We can like remove the certain rows, certain like sections from the page. We can add the sections here. So we have already added the page somewhere. Let's go and drag and drop. It's loading. So we have got the fields here. You can see whatever I have added there. So now let's keep it here as of now. I'll do certain modifications and I'll show you. Now I'll activate it as a default one. I have shown you when you want to be specific for a profile, for a record type, and for particular profile, app, profile, and record type. When you want to be specific, you can choose this app, record type, and profile. If you want to have any specific app default or org default, I'll make it org default. Means it will be visible for all. Now go back. As I have added there, I have got this button. Now let's say if I want to create one tab like details new next to this, like LDS account form, I can do that. Edit object. So here we are getting this related list part section. If I click here, let it load. You can say there are coming certain tabs. Okay. Now let's add new tab. Do you see this add button, add tab? So related to what? Let's say my custom tab, name, LDS account, done. This is my LDS account. We'll remove the other information we don't need. And what we will do, we will simply drag and drop it here. And save it. So this is how we can edit it. We can add new tab. We can shuffle the sequence. You are getting this? Let me remove it first one, otherwise it's creating some duplicacy. Simply, if you want to remove something, you'll get the option button delete. Save and go back. Now you can shuffle between your tabs. This is my tab which I have added. Details, new. You can add or remove any other tab similar to this. You can add your content there. Okay, so right now we have talked about one form, that is lightning record form. Similarly, we have two more forms. Let's say if I want to add only view form. Here I need to pass layout type. Okay, so that will be some different naming convention. Saying remove it. Will that be saved? Another is lightning record view form and lightning record edit form. So there are three forms which we use. So depending on your need, you can choose. If you want to display the records in only read-only mode, you can choose record view form. There are what all the supported attributes are there in record edit form. You can check here on the documentation. Yeah, review form. It will accept the object API name and support API name support objects they have given here. Go to the specification and you can check here. It has less attributes. It has two things only: object API name and record ID. So it will display all the records of the object. So wherever you will be going to drag and drop. Record edit form will accept more parameters as compared to this view form, because you will be going to load and you want to handle the action when your record you on load, on save, on submit. We have these on success, on submit. These are the actions, JS actions. You can specify on those as action and you can call the JS function, JavaScript function. So it will be your need. If you only want to display the records, use view form. If you want to modify the records, then you can use edit form. But let's say you do not want to use neither view nor edit, you can also use record form. That will also be helpful. That will also fulfill your need. Here we don't need to make the server call, as we are not writing or doing anything as of now in JS controller, or we are not making any change or creating we do not have any association of Apex class. We are just using the standard services of Salesforce, and it will respect all your CRUDs, all your FLS field level securities as well. It will all automatically give you the buttons to cancel or save when you are modifying. If it's a new form, it will give you the only one button, save, to save the new record. And keep in mind, when you want to display the data, you need to have the record ID, like which record you want to display. If you want to modify, then also record ID is mandatory. Record ID in case of, let's say, display, record ID, object name and fields, this part will be mandatory. But in case of when you want to modify, you can pass the layout even there. You need to but specify ID and which object. For the create form, you can make it bit generic. where you can insert, like you can make a generic form, you can deploy that form on any layout, object layout. It will automatically inherit the object API name, and we don't need the record ID in case of when we are creating the record, because first time we will insert, after insertion we'll get the record ID. So we can use all three forms whenever need, as per the business. On